G'day team, welcome to another tiny build scale modeling video. Today we're continuing our Panther build with something special, an easy, awesome camo that anyone can try. Whether you're just starting out or looking to build your skills with a new technique, this video is for you. Now last video I already painted up the stowage to this tank. You can check out the link below. This time we're turning our attention to the tank itself and giving it a classic auto camo paint scheme. Super easy to replicate with only a handful of paints. I'm going to be using these paints in the video. If you want to make your life easier and maybe save some money as well, I'd recommend buying this pack or a pack similar to it. If you can't use the paints in this pack, feel free to use whatever you have at home. This channel is all about making it as easy as possible to do it without breaking the bank. Now the brand I'm using is a Tamiya tank, but obviously you can use any brand you want for this paint scheme. And it doesn't even have to be a Panther tank. You can honestly use this on any late war camo scheme for any German vehicle. With that being said, let's jump into it. This is what we have to start off with. It's just the built up hull and turret along with the aftermarket stowage. On top of that, I've just added a couple of random homemade tarps out of some tissue paper. I've also put all of the wheels onto some cut off sprues. And as you can see here, it just helps me paint them all up later on. We're starting with a full coat of black primer over the entire tank, turret, hull, stowage, and the wheels. This gives us a solid base and helps us with shading later on. Once that's dry, I go in with white to highlight the raised areas of the tank. Things like the edges, the top of the turret, hatches, and the top of the stowage. This is what's called pre-shading and is one of those small 1% tricks that really add up and make the final paint job pop. Next up is our base coat Dunkelgelb, the standard dark yellow seen on late war German armor. I spray this across the entire tank using 2 to 3 thin layers. You want to build it up gradually so our pre-shading still shows through. Thin coats are key here. We want to keep that depth and contrast created by the black and white primer underneath. Once you're happy with the coverage, let that fully dry before we move on to the rest of the camo. Now it's time to add some Schokobraun or chocolate brown. Using a tight, narrow spray pattern, I create random squiggly lines and patches across the tank. Keep them fairly small and spaced out. The goal is to make the pattern feel natural, not too uniform, but still balanced across the entire model. A good tip is to make sure your brown lines flow over multiple parts. For example, starting on the wheel guard plates and continuing onto the hull, as you can see here. This keeps the pattern cohesive rather than looking like it's stuck to one panel or one section of the tank. If you're not happy with how a section looks, don't stress. Just spray some Dunkelgelb back over it and restart that area. I've done that myself, as you can see here. Make sure you're happy with how this part looks before you move on. Now for the final color, Olivegrun, the green layer that brings it all together. Like before, we're spraying tight random lines and patches, but here's the trick. Every green section should touch a brown one. This creates the overlapping layered look that is typical of the ambush camouflage pattern. The green shapes can be as big or slightly smaller than the brown ones, just vary them a little for interest. Again, move slowly and work around the tank panel by panel until it looks balanced and you're happy with it. Check your references if you're unsure, and remember, no two tanks looked exactly the same. Once you're happy with the camo, I like to give the entire model a light coat of AK Interactive Intermediate Gauzy Agent. This is a gloss varnish and does a couple of things. It protects the paintwork, smooths out any tonal differences, and gives us a nice surface to work on when we move into the weathering. Let that dry completely before starting any washes, streaks, or chipping in the next stage. And there we go, your Panther in Autumn Ambush Camo, all painted up and looking sharp. If you've been wanting to try this camo scheme but weren't sure where to start, now you've got the steps to give it a go. In the next video, we'll jump into weathering the Panther, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. If you've found this helpful or enjoyed the video, leave a like, drop a comment, or subscribe to support the channel. Until next time, happy modeling. I'll catch you in the next one.